Buttercup.
This is peanut butter.
This is... Yeah, I mean, the pressure was too much. I couldn't think of it.
I was like, which one is the other
I was going
Powerpuff
for the
Girl?
Powerpuff Girls. Yeah.
Yep. Buttercup
I don't
and
know
then
them. I don't know
Daisy or...
Daisy?
No, what's his name?
It's like
The one that's like a guy.
You mean Mojo Jojo?
No.
The monkey?
The black-haired one.
That's Blossom. No,
Blossom,
Buttercup is
no.
No, Blossom is red, Buttercup is green, Bubbles is blue.
Okay.
Butter.
Don't ask me how I know that. Yaman, the way you said, like, the pressure was too much, it's like you, like, came 5 seconds into having sex with, like, Kate Upton or something.
I don't...
It doesn't
what?
have to be Kate Upton. Let's be honest.
Okay, kick yourself while you're down. Welcome back to the Prude podcast. This is episode 40, I think.
I don't fucking know.
The big 4-0. Great job, you guys. Doing great. Patrick, you saw The Quiet Place. I saw The Quiet Place. I thought it was dope. You thought it was great.
I thought it was really fucking good.
Yeah.
Like, next to Annihilation, if Annihilation came out this year, then it's got to be Annihilation in this movie or my top two so far this year.
Yeah. So, there was a YouTuber named YMS Adam from Your Movie Sucks, who is kind of like a prominent YouTube
What a fucking
reviewer.
idiot.
And he uploaded
I don't even know this
22-minute
person. I'm not even
review.
going to watch any of these reviews. I've watched like 2 of them, and they were just like, meh, 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 meh. Fucking idiot.
He just uploaded a 22-minute long review nitpicking the movie, which, to be fair, some of the like criticisms kind of make sense, but also it's a little much. Like, that's not what I'm
that's his
paying
whole
attention
idea,
to in the
isn't it?
movie. Yeah.
His fucking thing, his brand is just literally taking... I don't even know all of the movies that he reviews, but I'm sure that their movie... He'll, like, take a movie out of, like, the box office who's just like, oh, everybody liked this movie, like Wonder Woman or something like that, and then just pick it apart. Because he wants people to come in who are angry and watch his video and give him money. And that's my theory, and I'm pretty sure I'm right.
Well, okay, what did you take issue with the video? You had a lot of things
I didn't
to
watch
say.
it.
You didn't watch all of it?
I'm not going to watch any of it.
That's true. I watched the whole, like, 22-minute long
And
spiel.
how bad was it?
He just, like, has this kind of high and mighty attitude that I don't like.
Of course he does.
But he also has, like, a
God.
very nasally voice that I imagine, like, every Redditor sounds like. Where, like, he'll get mad at people for
Liking
shitting on his
stuff?
opinion. No, he'll get mad at people for shitting on his opinion, and it'll be like, everyone's allowed to have an opinion, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter if you like it and I don't like it, blah, blah, blah. And, like, that makes up, like, a good 5 minutes of, like, his whole rant. And I'm just like, dude, I don't really care. Like,
He makes that a staple of every video that he just talks about
a
the
good
idea
amount.
of the First
like, definitely,
Amendment.
like, especially if it's something, like, really popular and people
God,
are like,
that sounds so fucking annoying. That sounds like everybody who has bad opinions is just like, hey, we're all allowed to have opinions. The point of criticism and arguments, oh, I hate this fucking stupid strawman shit so much. When someone says something and then someone disagrees with them, they act it's like it's an infringement on their First Amendment or something like that.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
Oh, you're attacking me and you're trying to take away my rights. It's like, no one is saying that. We're just saying something back to you. That's how people work. People talk. All people talk. You're saying that only you can say stuff and no one can disagree with me. Shut up for disagreeing with me is what you're saying. God, it's such an annoying fucking attitude.
yeah, there's, like, I don't know. It kind of ties into the whole people, like, crying about free speech and censorship thing to, like, where people, like, get upset about people shitting on other people for their, like, bad opinions and, like,
the tolerant
whatever. I don't
left.
really care. But, like, people need to, like, understand that people have opinions and will fight about their opinions forever. Like, it's been happening since the dawn of man, since we were fucking monkeys. Like, one monkey liked horse meat better than he likes, like, fucking vegetables, probably, and wars were probably fought over that at some point. Like, and no one, like, sure, you can pretend to be, like, a high and mighty rational actor where, like, well, I'm open to discussion and I actually like to hear everyone's opinions, and it's okay if you like something and I don't like something. I was like, well, that's technically correct. Don't act like we're not just primitive disgusting, barely higher functioning animals that are ready to, like, go at each other's throat over whether or not The Last Jedi was good or not. Like, people are pulling
like,
shivs out.
that point like people make is so inherently defensive, and they act like it's, oh, I'm just saying the most peaceful normal thing ever, I'm a butterfly. But what you said, you said your opinion, and someone says, hey, I disagree with that, and then you're like, what? I'm just a monk sitting in this tree. I didn't do anything wrong. This is just my simple, peaceful opinion. Everybody stop attacking me. But nobody's really attacking you. They're just voicing their opinions in return that somehow conflict with yours. And that bothers you to your core so much that you scream about it every single time you make a video. Oh, it's such a like, the concept of this channel is so, like, turning your nose up almost all the way until you do like a 360 and flip over. It's so annoying to think about how he went and he created a channel that was just like, I'm gonna be a cunt and this is my whole channel. I'm just gonna be an annoying motherfucker.
Isn't that what this podcast is?
No.
It might turn into that.
Keep your opinions to yourself.
But that whole same thing, that's like the whole principle that film Twitter and political Twitter have in common, where
movies.
Yeah, people try. There's like people that are like, we can have a civilized debate about our disagreements and differences of opinion. And I was like, I mean, yeah, that'd be great, but like, really, we all hate it. Like, half of this country hates the other half, like, and we're ready to go at it. Like, I'm sure if there wasn't like a bunch of technology and like first world comforts coming at us, and like we actually had any, I don't know, food shortages or real life issues to face, that there would be like a civil war right now over everything.
Have you ever been arguing with someone? My personal opinion is like, I don't normally like to argue until I start arguing. And then you get people, like, when I was a kid, my mom would come in between me and my brothers, or me and somebody else who were arguing, and be like, hey, guys, calm down, let's not do this. But I was like, no, I really, 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 really want to be in this room with this person and scream at them for like the next 2 minutes. That's all I want. People who want to diffuse situations like that when it's not really necessary to diffuse anything, like this guy saying, hey, no one have any conflicting opinions to the point where you argue. That's the point of talking, right? It's surely not just people walking into a room saying things and then saying nothing like in rebuttal. It's so stupid.
Yeah, but at the same time, sometimes there's fights or like disagreements people want to have, but I just do not care enough about. So I'm just like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like I just don't have a strong enough opinion to like debate this person with this person, and they're like, debate me, like fucking like fight me on this. What? That's all you got? And I was like, yeah, I really don't care at all. But you know, it is what it is. I feel like I've done that with you, Patrick, where you like want to fight me on like my opinion on some movie, and then we end up having the same opinion. So it's like,
I don't remember the last time I've shared an opinion with you.
A Quiet Place. We both loved it.
Yeah, but for some reason I was like waiting. I wasn't sure what you thought of it, so I didn't bring it up to you at all because I knew you were gonna have some weird, like, strange thing that you didn't like about it, like this dude. And I was going to be very upset. But then you were like, 9 out of 10. And I was like, what was the reason you gave it a 9 out of 10? You were just like, oh, just some other stuff. I was just like, okay. I'm so scarred from every conversation I have with either of you because it's just so much violence towards me.
That's true. I feel like I've never gotten into a serious argument with Yaman. And I don't know why.
No, I think we're both rational human beings with intelligent opinions that are correct.
I just don't think you guys know each other enough to where you're comfortable with screaming at each other. But I know you guys both enough where I love the conflict.
I don't know. I kind of want to get into like a fight with words with Yaman. Not even a screaming match, but just one thing where like I just destroy him mentally and verbally.
I usually don't like to argue unless I know
that you're 100% right or something.
Yeah, not that I'm right, but that I have some sort of valid argument going. I don't argue just to argue.
I'm not usually.
Usually.
Do you got something to say? Tell me about it. No, do you have an opinion that's like controversial
on Yaman's ability to argue and stuff? I mean, I think you're both kind of like this in that I'm almost like this sometimes, but I feel like if more than one person is telling me I'm wrong, I immediately go like, okay, fine, geez, I'm stupid, I get it. I sometimes do that, but then there are times where I just fight to the death until I walk into a corner and then, cry a little bit. But you guys, you'll get on your box, and just having gotten on your box, whether it was a slip of the tongue and you didn't mean what you said, you will stay on that box until you die.
And that's absolutely not true.
This is totally true.
That's not true.
Every
You
single
said that.
time we have an argument.
I don't remember what we were arguing about last.
I don't.
It was when you brought up what's her name, and I was like, and I
Who?
overreacted when we got heated on the podcast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you
but
said
that wasn't about that. What I said.
I know.
The
but
conversation before
about that conversation, you were saying that I was like,
Ow.
I was getting farther and farther away from my initial argument.
Yes, you were.
And I wasn't, and I don't do that.
Yes, you were.
I'll
go listen to it today.
I know what happened that day, and I know what happens a lot with you specifically.
Oh, God.
I will give an example to prove my point, and then you will latch on to that example.
Because it can completely destroy your point. If you bring up, like, I remember the specific thing that you said was, we were talking about how, this religious person coming up to you and being like, oh, eventually you'll come and see my ways, or something like that, and you'll come to the light, making it seem like your way is wrong, and you will eventually come to your senses. I totally understood that. And then you provided an example of someone coming up to you and saying, I believe gay people are subhuman, or something along those lines.
It was not the example. You fucking.
Yes, it
that was not the example.
Yeah, man, yes, it was.
It was not the example.
It wasn't those exact words, but it was like, I don't believe gay people are actually human, or something like that.
No,
that was the example. The other example, and you said these two are much alike, and I was like, no, they're not. And Kenya agreed with me, they're not. And then you were like, no, you just don't like this example. You're an idiot, and you got super mad at me.
You changing the example a lot. It was the idea. The idea is that the person meant no harm in their head. In their head, they were just genuinely like, in both cases, like, you know, you're not living the best life you could be living. You know, you could have Jesus in your heart, or you could be dating someone of the other sex. You know, it's.
And my point was, that initial one of that person coming up to you. Are you gonna go listen to the podcast?
No, I'm not. I'm listening.
Okay,
I'm not doing anything.
I'm not sure I'm actually right in this. I remember that example. But my point was that initial religious person coming up to you and being sort of snide was sort of harmless. And then you brought up this other one that was vicious. And I was just like, that's not the same thing.
Why is one harmless and the other isn't?
Because the other one is talking about other people who believe something different not being human, and the other one is just you being slightly dumb. That's it. Don't look at me like that.
That's absolutely not what. That's not.
Yeah, I'm gonna listen to this after we stop recording. The moment I hit stop recording, I'm gonna listen to it, and I'm gonna be so fucking right.
Okay, you can do that. You're not gonna be right, but you can absolutely listen to it. You can absolutely listen to it afterwards.
I like how we're having an argument about how a past argument went.
It's like digging up someone from the dead, and examining them again.
Because I get that a lot. I'm really bad. I'm really bad when it comes to examples because I like to use
an extreme
example because it provides
drama, gravitas.
Not drama. That's not at all what I'm trying to do. But if I give an example that's too similar, someone won't understand why it's relevant, so to speak. Like, okay.
I know what you mean. If you provide a different example, the point is to get them to approach that example in the same way, and then you'll see, well, why are the two different? Yeah. I totally see that.
Okay.
But these two in particular were so wildly different.
It was like saying,
well, why would you react that differently? It's Easter and 9/11.
You're crazy. You're crazy. You're nuts. You're nuts.
No, I'm not.
It is
you
not
sound like an old
different.
man. Yeah, you're crazy. You don't know what you're talking about.
It is not that different.
Pena, what do you think?
Don't make him take sides if he doesn't want to.
I hate it when my parents
He was there.
I know he was. Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
I honestly don't really remember how that went.
Why don't you remember everything that I've argued about?
I know there was a bad example used, specifically one that was like more tangential and more extreme. Are you sure I didn't? I feel like I ended up signing with Yaman or something.
No,
I remember you being mad at me about that.
What?
I might be misremembering. I don't remember. So I'll just take your word for it. But
I remember you saying something like, that's sort of a bad example, or something like that. Something that was like sort of neutral, and then you were eventually like, can we move on? I remember you really didn't want us to talk about it for a little bit, and then we moved on eventually because I said something about I was just like, why don't you go talk to your pretty lady friend? And then Yaman was like, whoa, out of nowhere.
Oh,
And I was
yeah,
just
that
like, how
was
is
like
that bad of a thing to say? And then
Well,
I got
it
really
was- we were-
personal.
we were getting really
that, like,
heated.
you drew
and then-
blood.
Text chat.
It was the context. It was we were getting really
But what I
heated.
said was so innocent.
It
I meant it as
was,
sort of like a
but-
dumb thing to say,
Yes,
like, oh,
I
why don't you talk to your,
understand that.
beautiful, amazing person that you talk to every day? Like,
I
just
know.
like, why
In
don't you
the
go
moment,
talk
I
to
was
Jesus?
like, what does that mean? Yeah.
And then you didn't respond to my text a couple times over the next 2 days, and I was like, is he actually legitimately
Yeah,
pissing me?
yeah, that happened.
And then you're talking about this new girl now who won't respond to you. Like, oh man, she won't respond, but you wouldn't respond to Patrick that one time. Are these two examples too far apart?
No, these two examples are completely different.
They're great, right? They're a fucking great argument.
Unlike the examples that I gave.
Holy shit! Did
These
you just
examples
admit your own
are
wrong?
completely
The
different.
thing-
No, I literally just said that your example was incorrect and mine was
got it.
correct. That was
Makes
the point
perfect
that I was
sense.
making. Yes.
The only issue I
since
had
we're on the
with
same page.
Patrick, you bringing up the pretty lady or whatever, the way you brought it up seemed really aggressive, and
Right.
also it seemed like
Maybe I
you
should
were
have
trying to go
let
for
on the
blood.
gas more of just like how it doesn't mean anything. I was just trying to wrap the whole thing up and just be done with it. And what I said, I guess, came across as like, why don't you go talk to your bitch girlfriend or something like that.
That's.
I don't know how that would be an argument in that
I
situation.
don't know, but it was like getting to the point where like the argument no longer mattered, and it was getting to the point where it was like the climax where it's like, you know what, go fuck yourself, and then like that's it. But you didn't
what I
say
said
that.
was meant to be sort of like silly. Like, why would he say that? That's just a compliment almost. It's like,
Yes,
why don't you go
but-
talk to your pretty amazing girlfriend or something like that? But
Yeah,
I made it
but-
sound so weirdly.
Yeah, you
said
made it
so
sound like-
aggressively.
you made it sound like not genuine. Like
And
you were
then the
trying to be
moment
mean about
afterwards
it.
was so incredibly awkward that every time that I listen to that podcast again, I have to skip it.
I'm sorry
I
I,
just can't.
reacted that way. I feel bad that I reacted that way because
You feel bad because I got really mad at you.
I mean, I was like, man, I really look like a weirdo because
You
he
say
said something.
whoa, and get like really like
It gets, like,
surprised by it,
really
and then go
intense.
like, and then I
Yeah,
go like,
like,
what?
blindsided.
And then, because I just was like, I wasn't actually mad, and then I brought it immediately down to like,
You immediately go down from like 10 to
it's like
0.
I punched you in the gut, and I was like, what's wrong
Yeah,
with you?
yeah.
You some kind of puss?
But
Like you stab Yaman in the neck. You're like, what's wrong? I don't get it.
Shake it off.
Walk it
Anyway.
off, you bitch.
This
Oh my god.
reviewer motherfucker.
anyway,
Yeah,
bring
anyways.
it
Isn't
back.
just the concept of that inherently annoying when his channel's called Your Movie Sucks? Like if someone made a channel that was like
Well,
I don't know what's a good
I'm
example.
thinking of a channel, but like it's kind of like a counter example to this where it can Angry Joe.
God, I hate that.
Oh,
guy.
he's so
Such a
fucking
idiot.
annoying. His
I mean,
gimmick is so bad.
he's not great, but like he's not always shitting on things. If something's
isn't.
bad, he'll say
But
it's bad.
I
and
feel
if
like
it's not,
that he
he'll
just
say it's
made that
not.
name early on, and it wasn't always just like, oh, I'm really angry about everything. It was just sort of like, I'm pretty tough sometimes, and that's the idea. Like he's a rowdy guy.
Yes.
But with this person, it's so annoying the moment you read their name, and then you know for a fact you already make up an idea of what they sound like and what the review style is, and then you listen to a video and you're just like, yep, I'm right. This person's a cunt.
Okay, to be 100% fair, because I feel like we might be corrected on this. Your Movie Sucks does actually like some movies. They do
Oh,
put out
great.
like some good reviews occasionally. And they
Was it
even
like Martin
do
Scorsese's Silence?
kind of, yeah.
Oh God, I know it. I
but
know he was a
like-
fucking snob.
I mean, to be honest, yeah, his tastes are like quite pretentious. Like if you go to his top of best of the year lists, it's always they're always extremely late, and he says that they're late because he needs time to watch all the foreign movies that don't make it to North America in
Oh,
time. So his
God.
list is always filled with a bunch of foreign movies, which is fine in theory, but then like he also does like put up his nose to like other things that us
Like a good
plebeians
movie
would enjoy.
like A Quiet Place.
Yeah.
What is something that I didn't like about A Quiet Place, just to be fair? It's not the perfect movie. One thing I didn't like is how this sort of seemed like it was a horror movie to come out to just sort of swipe away all these really shitty, just like money-making, like Ouija or like there's a concept like, oh, it's a pill bottle that you take a pill and it grants a wish, but someone dies. Like that's the idea for every new horror movie about like a teen drama or something like that. And this movie came out of nowhere and was just like, wow, John Krasinski, you're really fucking talented. You know what you're doing. And
Yeah.
it was just a good movie. And compared to all the other shit, I don't know, it just made it seem even better. And the one thing I can think that I didn't like, because it was just shared this with all the other movies, is it had a lot of cheap scares in that a lot of loud noise. and that maybe has to do with the theme of deafness and like quietness.
Yeah,
silence.
that's why I can't really fault it for like some of the loud scares, because the whole movie is pretty quiet. But I don't know. I kind of go back and forth on that. They're not egregious enough for me to like be mad about it.
It makes it seem, if you like, they say this in the movie, it's just like if you compare sounds, some things that were normally loud next to a waterfall aren't as loud, so you can behave differently. If you're talking about that level of sound in a movie, and you also have stupid loud, like, just, I like noise to come from the movie, like a bucket landing on a floor should be like a loud noise, and not some huge bass drop like in the middle of the movie, like Suicide Squad and Man of Steel is just like a huge amount of noise. This movie, I was expecting all the noise to come from the movie itself, and there to be almost minimal to no soundtrack, and I was just surprised by how much Hollywood garb was thrown in. Just like the boosting of everything was just so weird. Like a sound that's unnecessary is what I mean. Like when a creature comes around a corner and then you get this huge spike in the score. It's just like, Jesus Christ, you're not scared about what you just saw. You're scared because you were just startled by the grenade that went off in your ear. Like all that stuff, I felt like if they just stripped it down, would have been like an 11 out of 10. I give it a 10 out of 10 because it's just such a great movie compared to the horror movies that have come out recently.
Yeah, especially compared to what else? What's another horror movie that's coming out right now? Oh, Truth or Dare. That's the movie that I read the Wikipedia summary
exactly
of.
Another pill bottle
really
movie.
Fucking stupid. It's like, what if we made Truth or Dare, but people would die if
they've all got troll faces.
Yeah, the movie was fucking dumb, and the Wikipedia summary was also.
Why do you read those?
Because sometimes I think like the concept is kind of interesting, even though they're stupid and like gimmicky. I'm just like, oh, let's see what they did with this. Maybe it was something interesting. And I read the Wikipedia summary to save my time and money, because I'm just like, oh yeah, I was right. It really wasn't that interesting. But
did you see Annihilation?
Yes, I did. I love it.
Fucking A. That's another
so
movie.
Good.
Like I would say that's like a sci-fi horror thriller.
Yeah,
in those veins. It doesn't do the thing that these other. I don't know why there's a machine in Hollywood that takes, like I said, pill bottle concepts where it's like, oh, it's a music box that if you turn it and you make a wish, someone gets viciously torn apart, but I don't know what the catch is. I really don't. And it eventually all comes back to bite or something like that. And there's something like that, or these horrible fucking like remakes, like what's that doll thing? The Annabelle recreation, Annabelle blah 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 blah. Just like taking an old concept and just doing it again. It used to be like Freddy and Jason, and just like remakes and remakes and remakes, like 87 of those movies. But now it's just like one word. It's just a really simple concept. Like The Purge was one of those originally. I mean, it wasn't just about like crime and like political stuff. It was just like, oh, this is the horror movie for this year. But now it's going to be a political.
The Purge did do a weird pivot from, here's a goofy concept that doesn't really make a lot of sense when you think it through, and then they just like expanded on it and are like, here are the socioeconomic and political implications of this world and how all this stuff works.
Specific though?
They got like more specific, especially in the Purge election year, where they actually like the whole plot of that movie was making sure this one candidate survived the Purge so that she would be able to like revoke the Purge, and she was talking about how it's actually just a war on like the poor and minorities by like an omnipotent, omnipresent like white establishment. It was very on the nose. Like they were hitting you over the head with a fucking like hammer. When
they cut to those back rooms with all the white men, they talked like evil businessmen, and it was really cringy. Like I was like, they are not being subtle about it. Looks like the Purge is going well this year with his hands steepled like this, and oh man. And
like if you look at those scenes in the Rick and Morty Purge like scene,
oh yeah,
that one, like they're not that they're not that different.
That was very funny.
Yeah. What were you gonna say?
Do you think that and this is also a question for you, in case you're asleep.
No, I'm here.
You know The Purge, right?
I do know The Purge. I have not watched them.
Do you think? So you know what it is? It's just
I know what it is.
Yeah, okay. One day a year. So do you think that would be beneficial to our modern society? Let's say tomorrow was going to be The Purge. How do you think that would benefit society?
Well, what is it in the movie? Is it they believe that if if they tell
I
people
don't know.
on this
I really
day,
don't know.
Isn't it? They tell people on this day you can commit crimes.
All crime
so
is
don't,
legal.
So don't do it the rest
Any
of the
other
year
day.
because on this day you can do it without any repercussions. So
Yeah.
in their heads it'll lower crime for the rest of the year.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then on this one day,
Do you think that
everything
would happen
happens.
in real life?
Not at all.
No. I feel
Hmm.
like most people don't do it for the fun or the thrill of it. I feel like people do it because it's a spur of the moment. Like murder happens because of something, not just like,
Or
I
to
want to kill
steal
someone,
something.
or someone doesn't have money, so they need to make money somehow. And I don't think that having one day a year, I don't think that having more than one day a year would help either. I'm just saying I don't think it would help.
I remember reading into the lore of the Purge or something. I don't know why I ended up finding out about this, but they talk about how when they first made the Purge a thing, the majority of people didn't actually go out and like kill everyone or like do anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to find a way to incentivize people to actually like go out and do it.
So how did they do it?
I don't remember, honestly.
They released prisoners or something?
Maybe.
Wouldn't they
I
do
think
it?
they like put out. I think they maybe like released chaos starters or something. Like people would go out and stir up shit.
A riot? Wouldn't that ensure
Yeah,
people would
something
not
like
go
that.
outside?
I really don't know. I'd have to look into it again, but
Think of 10 people that you know. 10 people in your mind right now with your fingers.
yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to think.
I'm
Wait,
Do you
just like
think 10 people, anybody, your family
20
members,
people?
anybody?
Okay.
Do you think 2 of those people would participate in the Purge? Think of 2 people that you know that would do that.
I know people like I'm
Patrick,
sure I know
one of those
people
people
that
is
would go
you. I feel like
What?
you would do it.
No!
I feel like you would want to do it just for like a little bit, and then you'd like
I would never know.
Almost
you'd see
died,
someone's
you'd
like
be like,
get
"Fuck
you
this, I
see
wanna go
someone's
home."
like head get run over by a jeep, and you're like, yeah, I want to go home. This is too much.
Well, I mean, I've seen people die. That wouldn't like push me away. I would definitely like to watch though.
I guess I would like. I would watch a
you'd need
Twitch
to,
stream
I'm
of
just
the
thinking about
Purge.
just the overhead of just like getting all these. Oh, that would be fucking annoying. Because you'd have to get bars for the windows. You'd have to fucking reinforce the walls. You get like some kind of garage or something to protect the cars. I'm just thinking about all the construction necessary. Like every neighborhood would become like a jail site now. Oh, that would be annoying.
I mean, yeah, and the neighborhoods that could afford it too. You just think that's probably not
Well, I
something
mean,
that
I'm
everybody.
talking about like everybody would probably put up some level of like everybody's gonna buy a gun now. That's gonna be like the new thing. Everybody has a gun that they use once a year, whether or not they use it actively or defend
Careful,
themselves with
the
it.
NRA might start.
I
Pushing
know
the
what you're
idea of
talking
having a
about.
Purge.
Maybe that's the reason why. Maybe
Oh.
just it's like this like push for like weapons and like defense
Motivated by
material, most motivated by money, like all the politicians are. So, God,
Oh,
that'd be
hey, I
interesting.
have,
It's an
um,
interesting concept. Dumb movies though.
I've looked up the Purge thing, and this is like a kind of an article from last year when it was still called The Purge: The Island. But
It was the island
that's what it was called before they made it. What is it now? The
Election
Purge?
year?
election year.
No, election year is the third one.
So
What
what's
the
the first
fuck?
one?
How many? What?
Yeah.
How many?
Oh,
have there
they
been?
renamed it the First Purge. Yeah, they renamed it the
Oh,
First Purge.
okay.
So he talks about how there was a Purge beta test event isolated in a single New York City borough.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and so, but they found that people wouldn't go out, so the government gave cash incentives to poor people or to anyone willing to participate. So people from Staten Island can easily go to Brooklyn for the evening. So what they do is start promising very decent sums of money for the very poor people in the neighborhood. It becomes a monetization of murder and violence, incentivizing killing and keeping people
Yeah, but how
around for
does
them
that
to be victims.
benefit?
Wait, what was that? Wait, what was the last part you said, Alex? Keeping people what?
Keeping people around for them to be victims. So the more people that are around
Why?
to
Yeah.
like actively try and kill people to like get that money, they themselves can also become victims, right?
Yeah, so you
it's
know what
kind
I'm
of just like
thinking about?
luring everyone in.
You know what I'm thinking about? Kind of like if there was a game like PUBG that isn't super popular, they'd have to find a way to get 100 players into a lobby together, because if there aren't enough players, then they can't kill each other. But if there are enough players, then
I mean,
only
it's the
one
Hunger
wins.
Games.
Anyways, yeah,
See,
Hunger Games.
but why does that benefit?
I don't know.
the
I don't know
government.
what they get.
I mean, the theory, the in-universe theory is just that,
They like it.
well, yeah, it gets everyone's like bad shit out. So for the rest of the year, like Yaman said, there's less crime.
Well,
That's
yeah.
the stated reason that the government sells in the movie, but you later find out, I think in the later movies or something, that it's actually just a way for them to like call the population of like poor people because they deem them as like weights.
But isn't that your workforce?
I think maybe there's like an excess of poor people. I don't fucking know. I don't think it's that well thought through.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, like eventually that no one will be around to deliver your pizza or
I'm sure there's
clean
also
your
that
house.
like you saw in the movies there was like white collar people who like go out and like torture fetish like shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like anyone that was like rich enough could afford like Purge insurance where they would have like all these security measures and shit, and basically they would be untouchable for the night. Because it's only like a 12-hour thing from like 8 p.m. to like 8 a.m. or however that works. But yeah, the universe
would
is
you
like
do
really
it?
interesting.
Would you go out into the Purge?
Not at all. I would
Nope.
Where would
stay,
you go?
Not-
Where would you
not
go?
a
Tomorrow's the
fucking
Purge. Where are you
chance.
going?
Very hidden, well fortified area.
The woods.
Oh, that's probably the worst way.
No,
You're dead as fuck,
no.
dude.
You
You're
got to go to the
dead as
least populated
shit.
areas.
You're fucking
The
dead.
thing is that
In the Purge, anybody is your enemy. So you got to go in like a hole somewhere. You can't go in your house.
No, surely
your house is
you
a
could-
target.
Not everybody's an enemy. I feel like if you and I were together and it was like, oh, it's Purge, I wouldn't just shoot you in the face.
No, that's not what I mean. Any person that you see, they can kill you legally. No one is going to protect you. That's my point.
Right.
yeah, but I think other people would also just
They'd be. I feel like
be in the
more
woods
more
for
people
other
would
reasons. I'm not sure.
But no,
scared and want to
in
kill
like on a non-purge day, the woods is the haven of people who want to do illegal shit. People go like make moonshine, make fucking weed. They just do whatever they want out in the woods.
What the fuck is this? What happens in the woods? I just
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude,
I'm talking about in the
ever been to the
wild.
woods?
They can't just do that on the street. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about
mean-
people who need someplace hidden. That's where they go. But that's not where the people are. And if you're purging to kill people, this is where people are in the civilized world. So you go out to like the Appalachians or something, like hide in the woods.
I would.
I do
would,
see that logic, yeah.
Oh wait, I don't know.
But like,
how
I'm
that
not
works,
sure if it
actually.
would actually work out entirely in practice.
There was a Firewatch tower that I visited over the summer in the Appalachians, and that's probably where I'd go.
I feel like there would also be one crazy motherfucker out there that would lay like a
Who already
shit
lives
ton of
out there, but
traps
he
or
doesn't know that's the
something.
Purge. He's crazy.
He doesn't know what day
Maybe.
it
He
is.
doesn't know
yeah.
phone.
He doesn't know what day it is. I think I would honestly like.
I'm Bert Treefucker.
I want
What
to
day
say
is it?
I would hide in some basement, but I feel like that's kind of
That's a
obvious.
trap?
You have to hide somewhere that's
I'd
both
go to a roof.
easy
I'd go
enough
to-
for you to go to.
Like if I could get on the roof at GMU, I'd get on the roof up on here.
Yeah, if you could get onto the roof that only has like one door leading up and isn't surrounded by buildings that are of a similar height, then you'd probably be set. Just
I
like
think
kinda,
there'd be
like hide out
fucking
there.
like a terrifying number of people. Like there are already people who do crazy riot illegal like enormous like amounts of people just going out into the woods. Not in the woods again. I keep thinking of the woods.
What's wrong
like,
with you in the
like riots, just like there were in Baltimore. Just like people who take advantage of situations like that of civil unrest and they just go out into the streets. So if you name a day of Purge, there's gonna be like to the nth number of people out there. It's just like I'm just imagining
Yes.
that, and the idea of watching it sounds so cool.
I can't imagine that murder is the thing most people are gonna do.
No, not just murder. Just like I'm gonna go grab a TV.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know. So that's why I
I
don't
would just
feel
get
like
like an
hiding.
I would just get an Xbox and shit, like a ton of like electronics.
But in that moment, like I used to think about this a lot. Like when the Purge movie started coming out, it was just like, oh, the idea. What would I do on the Purge? Like my friends and I would say like, oh, like there's this one really edgy, weird kid who would be like, oh, I'd kill a cop, and then it's just like, what's to stop the cop from killing you?
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like people think that they will go and like rob a store or something, but like the stores, those especially like big box chain companies, probably pour a lot of money into like security for those 12 hours, and they
Those shutter
can
windows
kill
are
you.
hard to get down.
Like they will not hesitate to kill you.
Our staffers are all armed with 7 machine guns.
Yeah, exactly. So I think
Better
what I would
leave.
honestly
I'm gonna
like.
rob a gun store.
We don't want
I'd
to
prob-
clean up, so you better leave.
I'd probably just do some insider trading shit, or I don't know, like some other illegal but like more safe way of making money. You know?
Download an illegal game online.
I thought you were gonna say download an illegal gun.
No.
I would 3D print a
only,
gun.
I only
Download
download
it.
legal guns. All right.
You would never download a car.
I would just
Can
do
you
what
imagine
Martha
the day
Stewart did.
after the Purge, like having to clean up like all the people who drowned at the pool that we worked at?
God,
All the like beer cans stuck in the ventilation things.
imagine the Purge at the pool. Like, how would that
So
even...
many white bread motherfuckers running around with those guns that they've collected over years because no one loves them.
I assume a bunch of people would like drown people to kill them, have pool fights, shoot them, dump bodies in the pool.
They would go to their
know.
job in like DC and then hog tie their boss and drive back and then like tie him to a diving board and just like have people jump on it, and the more it breaks, like the closer he gets to drowning. All this weird like torture shit that people would do to their people that they don't like in everyday jobs.
That's kind of crazy that you just came up with that.
I'm really good at riffing. I don't know. It wasn't a specific instance that I've thought of. It wouldn't be like that, no.
You should never work for the CIA.
Because they can immediately assume that I'm bad.
They would you would like be like chief torture expert,
what?
and you would come up with all this like creative
torture's such a
shit.
stupid idea for getting information, but that's a whole other discussion. But I would steal all the Reese's Minis out of the 7-Eleven.
That's your grand plan.
They only put like 4 of them out every day, and I buy like 1 a week, and they'll look at me like as soon as I walk in, because that's all I give them. I give them like $5 for a Reese's Minis bag.
I would go to Costco and just take the entire tray of free samples.
Can you imagine how quickly things would go crazy?
Savage.
I really want to watch a really well done Purge movie where it just shows you all the things you want to see of like really like greedy people running into Walmart and just beating the fuck out of each other for a TV, just like really vicious
Black Friday footage. What
no,
are you talking
that
about?
okay. Black Friday is an illegal day, like a day where things are still illegal. So imagine that crazy carnage on a Purge day. So they're all trampling each other like nothing is fine. Like I was just get out of here. There was a half price on sandals.
I'd love to see when VR gets really, really realistic and like immersive for someone to make a simulation of.
Oh, I thought you were
the
talking about someone
Purge.
stealing one.
Oh no! But like I would like to see like a simulation of that shit where it's kind of just like a big wide open world kind of
Hive
game.
mentality.
Yeah, exactly. Like, are you gonna team up with people, or are you gonna just like fuck around and go and just like kill people and like not give a fuck? Are you gonna try and steal shit? Like, what are you gonna do?
Even though DayZ and those other games were so garb, one of the things I liked the most was meeting people out in the wild and like having a moment where you don't fight, and then it's just starting to talk to each other and starting to talk to, and then one of them will say like, "Take all your clothes off and put your gun on the ground." It's just like, whoa, what? And then they tie you up and like drag you away, like weird shit like that. Just people interacting with each other. How does it work?
The thing about the VR that you were talking about, Alex, is the stakes wouldn't really be high enough. Just the idea that it's a game. It's just like us talking about it right now. If there was a Purge, I'd do this, that, this, that, this, that. But like if there was really a Purge, I wouldn't do anything. I would hide as much as possible. So there would have to be a way for like the game to have some sort of
punishment mechanism.
Yeah. I don't know how while keeping it fun.
Like maybe everyone to get into the game, you have to like wager real money or something. Like you have to put $20 on the line.
Yeah, but
something that makes you want to survive.
The idea of getting hurt and killed is not the same as losing money. I feel like it's a completely different part of my brain.
Yes, but it has to be closer than just like a game.
What about an electrocution situation?
Like, like you would.
That's what I immediately jump to when you're talking about punishment.
I've thought about there will probably be some sort of attachment for video games. I think this might already exist actually. That delivers you like small shocks or small like painful things.
So you have more reason to stay away from something rather than just trucking into a bunch of people.
Yeah, I think it already exists actually, but like obviously it didn't get approved because it hurts people. Yeah, like that's God, I want to look this up.
But it's so realistic. I'm gonna look up a game as well because there was a game that I believe when you died, it like uninstalled itself or like you just couldn't play it anymore or something.
Bad uninstalled.
Something like that.
Here, I'm looking at game that Lightning Reaction Reloaded. Oh, there are like board games and stuff that give you shocks.
Why would you want a board game to give you a shock? I'm sorry, was checkers not enough for you? Did it not give you fucking that level of adrenaline? I'm really shocked that it didn't.
I mean, the concept is the same, where it's like a game and it like punishes you with physical pain, right? Although at the same time, I'm sure there's some fucking weird motherfuckers out there.
That doesn't make sense, though. In real life, do you playing VR chess? In real life, do you get electrocuted by your chessboard?
I'm not talking.
It's not realistic enough. Okay, my chessboard hits me.
That's true. If you want to make it more realistic, it's like
just make it like really wooden.
I just got shot in the fucking chest, and now I got electrocuted. Like that's how that's gonna work.
Well,
That
yeah,
wouldn't make-
it's still pain. The point
Yeah.
is, it's incentivizing you to not get hurt. It's not the idea of the pain so much as what your mentality is before the pain. It has to change from, I don't really care if I run into a dragon, I'll just respawn. It's like, if I run into a dragon, I'm getting electrocuted 87 times. So,
Did you watch Ready Player One?
no.
Oh,
Don't spoil it. I might actually watch.
I like
wanna
might
see
watch it
too.
Oh,
in a year
you
from
haven't seen it
now
yet.
when it's
Oh,
like
okay.
free or cheap.
I just
But
want to see it for all the toys running around.
Yeah, same. I'm curious how they dealt with like pain and like death and like that like game they have in that world.
Probably some monetary punishment.
But everyone's poor.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, maybe like get punished by taking away in-game currency.
Something.
But even then, like it's not even that big of a deal.
Something
I don't know.
Rich Evans pointed out, which I thought was really funny. No spoilers for the game, but in the trailer, you hear that the owner of the VR company is dying, and he hid an Easter egg in the game. It's a key to unlock his riches. It's like $17 trillion or something like that, and then you get to be in charge of the game. I think. And he let it loose, like 7 years ago or something like that? It was like some time ago. And people have been hunting it after it ever since, going through the levels. And Rich Evans pointed out how, like, the Korean ultra gamers would have gotten it in, like, 10 hours. Like, it would just been, like, done. Like, just these people who are, like, game for a living. And, like, that culture in Korea is just, like, people just, like, hooked in all the time. Like, what are the cafes called that they go to that are, like, just about games?
Just
Like
like
where people
gaming
fucking
cafes.
die, like they drop dead from being there for so long.
Yeah, just like internet gaming cafes.
Just
we have one of
like-
those here.
yeah. There are
pretty
people
dope.
who would have already figured it out just by like slamming their head into a wall like all the way through.
Dude, we have one of those cafes kind of like just west of our campus, just like down the street. And I was in there one day doing some project. I was actually just at a Smash tournament, like interviewing people. Anyways, doesn't matter. I'd never been in there before, and it's actually really dope. They have a really nice, clean setup in there compared to like what I imagined it would be, just smelling like sweat and being filled with like the most
Smelling like
disgusting odors you
ass
could probably
and weird
imagine. But they actually
cum
like make
stains
their own.
everywhere.
They have like food in the back that they make their own fresh stuff. It's actually kind of cool. But what kind of freaked me out was, yeah, they do attract a lot of international students and stuff, obviously. But there were literally kids that were barely old enough to walk. Like their feet did not touch the ground. They barely made it up to like the keyboard and mouse. They were playing shit like Left 4 Dead, PUBG, like all these fucking crazy games. And I'm just like, who brought you here? Like, is there some field trip that a bunch of fucking people, irresponsible parents brought their kids and they're like, yeah, go nuts. So I'm going to pay for 3 hours while I go get my nails done next door. Like, have fun playing all the games you could possibly want to play.
Yeah, those were really popular in Lebanon when I was little. That would be like the thing we would do. Was we would like walk to like the store and buy like a soda and like a bag of chips and then walk to the like cafe to see if it was open. Like that was the big. We would like have to turn the corner and like look down the stairs to see if the door was open, and we'd always have like our fingers crossed hoping it was open. And it was always, but it wasn't like you described it where there were a bunch of different games. It was only Counter-Strike. It was everybody showed up to play Counter-Strike with each other, and it was great. I have to say, it was
So everyone was on the
awesome.
same team in that game in that lobby.
I mean, no, we'd split it up somehow.
Huh.
Yeah,
Just sounds like a
in
classroom in
Lebanon?
like economics or something.
Yeah, that's kind of how it looks. Yeah.
do you live
maybe
in
that's
Lebanon,
smaller.
Yaman?
My grandma's house is in Lebanon, and she's here half the year, there half the year, and I go down every year or two during the summer. But the place closed; it's just not popular anymore. But it really used to be like it was like my friend would come over and we'd be like, "All right, let's go," and then we'd just head down and we'd walk like half an hour, hoping that the place was open.
That's sick. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I
How
miss
old
that.
were
Like,
you?
Like probably I started when I was like 10.
Damn. When did you come to? Wait, did you were born?
I was
there?
born here. Yeah.
Oh,
I'd go over the summers.
I just can't imagine going back and forth between a country for so many times.
I
Usually
mean,
because
it's
I've
not
only
like
lived
I'd
in
live there. I would go there for like a few weeks at most.
Still a long
I don't like
time.
live there half my life.
That would confuse me as a child because I would sleep on planes. So it'd be like, where am I now? I don't know.
Patrick, it would be like every year or two I would go for like 3 weeks.
I'm trying to hammer home that I'm stupid, Yaman.
You're doing great.
What I found is that I kind of had a similar experience in Venezuela when I visited there, because I used to have family that lived there before it like became a failed state. I went when I was like in the 5th grade, and it was so weird to me because this was like around the era where, okay, everything is like GameCube and Nintendo DS, right? Like that's the shit. And my mom, everything like GameCube and Nintendo DS were like the hot things.
I don't remember those ever existing on the same level of like popularity at the same time.
They literally were, but it was like the general.
Of the Game Boy, maybe.
The Game Boy came before the DS.
Yeah, I know, and I'm thinking of that at the same time as the GameCube.
They overlap. They definitely overlap.
I don't.
The DS.
The DS, I think of like 2008.
No, the DS came out a little bit before that, but that's besides the point. I gave my. I had to give my old Game Boy to my cousin who lived down there because they didn't have a lot of stuff, right?
Like on a plane to give someone in another country a Game Boy.
Okay, no, it was to see my family. You fucking idiot! Why do you make the dumbest comments about these stories?
God damn it, Patrick.
And so I like go see him, and he's like really into video games and movies and stuff, like I am as a kid. But his experience is totally different. Like I go and see like, oh, where are your games and stuff, and it's just a PlayStation 1 that looks half broken next to a TV that like has like half the colors of a normal TV. And we're just playing like the movie version of the first Spider-Man game. Like it's Spider-Man 1, but the PlayStation 1 game. This is not even the PS2 game. And I was like,
love that game.
This is amazing. Great. But the cool thing is they were very down with piracy down there. So you walk into like a video store, and the cashier was watching Madagascar. And as a kid, I was like, wait a minute, Madagascar just came out in America. How are you watching that like on a DVD here? And the quality was like also amazing. Like it wasn't like someone was just like filming it. I could tell like it looked like DVD quality. And I was like, what the fuck? And like they just had all these like new things that were still in theaters back in the States.
Were they also cheap for you? Like that was something.
Oh
like,
yeah, everything.
Like video games and movies, they literally be like, yeah, take like 6 for like $2, dude. Just like go ahead, dude. Like,
did you guys have those kids that were running around and selling them?
I don't remember that particularly.
No, usually shops, but they wouldn't work on my console though. The pirated
they're like
games.
region locked.
Why did they like break it?
No, like I'm sure they have some kind of mechanism that like makes it so you can't play pirated games, but I guess the console's there. It works.
No, the consoles there are hella
Alex?
expensive. So I think like if you wanted to buy a DS or something or GameCube in Venezuela, it's absurdly expensive. I remember going to the store and it's like twice the price.
Do you guys remember the game Leisure Suit Larry?
Are you making stupid comments again?
No,
yeah,
I know what game you're talking about, but
yes,
it's a stupid.
Can you not? Hang on. I'm curious as to how the games work.
Well, what happened is that it just creates like a black market where they would like grab consoles from other cheaper regions, and then they would also like hack them. They would hack them so they could just play any games.
Okay,
basically
right.
They would remove the region lock, so just because they basically smuggled them in from Florida, you could still play any game you want in Venezuela. That was the gist of it.
Yeah, I would always bring, like, I remember when I first got the Xbox 360, it was like the craziest thing ever to them. And then when I got the Xbox One, it was again like the craziest thing in the world, like the way games looked and it was just incredible. And that was always cool to like.
Do they visit you?
I visit them. No, I go there.
Do you bring your Xbox One with you?
Yeah, I can't.
You lug that shit around?
I can't go a month without video games. Are you kidding me?
You're lugging that international shit. That's crazy. No, I was the same way.
Talking about international, you don't take your Xbox with you when you go somewhere without it.
I don't need to go international. Like if I took a trip to like Florida or something, exactly. I would take my Xbox. It's not a vacation if I don't get to play video games.
I disassembled my TV and packed a whole different bag when I went to New York.
Let's
That's not even a joke. Are you kidding me? You
Well,
don't take your
lived in New York
Xbox
for
with
an
you
extended
everywhere?
period of time.
I
No,
spent so
used
much
to do
time
the
on my
same.
Xbox.
I used to do the same thing as well, but I've kind of given up on bringing my PS4 and Xbox everywhere all the time.
You do mostly
especially-
PC gaming, though.
Yeah, that's my
That's a good point.
justification is that my laptop is good enough to play things that I want
That's
to
a great
nowadays.
point. Yeah.
But I do have a Nintendo Switch. I bought that like on a
Oh,
whim.
dude, I've been thinking about that more and more. And I remember I listened to a podcast recently where Jan was talking about, it's not a mobile thing. People keep calling it a mobile gaming platform, and it's not. And I'm looking at videos of people like taking it on planes and stuff. And every time I listen to the Prude, not the Prude, fuck, not Inside Gaming. Why am I forgetting? Funhouse podcast.
Yeah.
Dude, so they talk about how, I was playing on my Switch, and it's not even like part of the story is just he just happened to be doing that, and just the idea that's so mobile, and I want that, but I don't want to play any of the games that much. I want to play like Halo on there.
Yeah, I find the Switch is like it's been like this with like the Wii and the Wii U, where it's like it's most fun when you have people with you there, like all the like Mario Party and Mario Kart,
1-2 Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah, all those. Yeah, it's just, it feels like it's a great game for when a bunch of
Play
people
with
are
someone else.
at your house, or like when you take it somewhere. Like that's. But I don't know if I do that enough.
I know
for
there's
it to be
Breath of
worth
the
it.
Wild and Mario Odyssey, but
That's all
maybe
I have,
I
yeah.
needed to grow up with those games in order to
Yeah,
have a
same.
lot of incentive. But
Fucking same.
I mean, they look great. They look really good. Breath of the Wild, I really thought about buying a Switch, but just to buy a console to play a game that I kind of want to play, it's not enough.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up playing like Legend of Zelda, Wind Waker, Twilight
Yeah.
Princess, Super Mario Sunshine. Like, those are some of my favorite games. So I was like very incentivized to get a Switch just to play those two games. But there's lots of other cool stuff too. Like on the plane, I'll be during my flights home, I literally like knock out a Zelda dungeon or something, and that's like amazing to me. Like just that concept. But there's like a lot of other games that are coming too. It's kind of getting better with third parties. You can play Doom and you can play Skyrim on the Switch. You can play FIFA
Doom
on the Switch. Yeah, there's a Doom port for the Switch. Wolfenstein 2 is coming out to the Switch. Dark Souls Remastered is coming to the Switch.
Dark Souls?
Yeah,
What?
yeah.
Oh,
It's
by the
crazy.
way, I recently
Are you
went
raising
over to
your
somebody's
hand?
house. I don't know why, but recently at work, at meetings for work, there'll be enough people where we have to raise our hands, and it's become like part of my thing again. It's like I'm at school. But when I went over to my friend's house and I started playing on the Switch, the controllers are so small. Like it's
Yeah.
very, very weird.
They're small for me. I can't imagine for you.
I have
freaking-
like big,
My-
stupid Crypt Keeper hands.
You can get the.
My hands
you
are
can
pretty
get-
big too.
you can
Are there
get
like
the-
double-sized ones?
Yes, there's a
yeah, there's
Wii.
like the-
there's a Switch Pro
Yeah.
controller.
I
that
want
you
one
can
of
get.
those.
Yes,
That's the size of
yes.
the
Because
Xbox One
I know it's
controller.
like maybe I'm not trying to brag about the size of my hands, but when you hold the controller, whether you have them together or apart, like it just feels like you have to move it just to adjust it, just to get it in the right spot. Like it matters a lot for a controller, for just because that's your input into the game, and it doesn't feel right. I don't know.
Yeah, I felt the same way that the controllers were kind of small, but I just kind of got used to it. I've been dealing with tiny controllers for a while. Like, I remember the Xbox 360, perfect controller, love it, one of the best
yeah.
controllers
It's
ever
a
made.
really good one, man.
really
And
good.
then I got a
Really good.
PS3 because there was some crazy deal, and I wanted to get a PS3 to play like Uncharted and shit. So we got a PS3, and I was like, this PS3 controller is tiny. Like, it's literally built for, I don't know, other people from other
Babies.
countries with tiny ass hands, and it took me forever to get used to it. But when I did, like, I don't even think about it now. Like, I can pick it up and like I don't give a shit.
Do you guys?
But
do
I'm
that-
still really glad they made the PS4 controller fucking huge.
Do you guys
Sorry,
do the
Michelle.
thing? Do you remember the Duke for the Xbox One, the first Xbox?
yeah.
Oh
Yep.
my god, that was
I'm
too
maybe
much.
the only person that I liked. Like I love those.
Not a fan.
I
It
liked
was
it.
too heavy.
And
It
people
was
like
dumb.
like dipshits on like GameSpot and like all these reviewers go like, dude, the Duke. I wish they'd bring it back. It's like, don't bring it back.
They
It was
did.
garbage.
They did. You didn't see that they did?
They made some kind of modified thing where it's like
did,
okay for
yeah.
the Xbox One or something like that. I don't want them
It's a-
to. I mean, it was. I'm going back now. I was an idiot for liking it. I don't know why I did. I think I had to have somebody help me hold it. It was that stupid big. But like all these things that you remember holding, and then you go back.
$70.
$70 for one of those?
Yeah,
Is it a
for
console?
the Xbox One. Controller. Wired control. It's not even wireless. Wired controller.
I think my favorite con-
Hyperkin Duke for Xbox One. $70.
That. Do you have to wait? Do you remember the symbol like on the controller was so huge?
It's a screen now. It's an LED screen.
But why?
Oh yeah, that is the cool part.
You like turn it on and then you know how you remember the 360 used to do the thing where like the green would go around the logo and then it'd go into it. It does that on the controller.
That's
if I remember
kind
correctly.
of cool.
Or maybe it just says like Xbox One, but it's a screen now.
I remember playing fucking Scooby Doo's 100 Night of Frights on that controller. God damn.
I remember playing Halo 2 split screen.
Halo
That's like
1
about
split
all
screen.
I played on the original Xbox. I played indoor soccer, and every day after practice, my team would go to the back where the trophy room, and there would also be a freezer with a bunch of those like cheap ass grocery store ice pops that were fucking delicious. And we eat
The one that
like
came in the sleeves that would cut your mouth
yes. Oh, fucking love those. We'd eat like 1 million of those and just play Halo 2 split screen in the back forever. And honestly, that was the only thing that kept me going through indoor soccer for so long. 'Cause I fucking hated it.
My parents, oh man, they got really, really. That was like the main conflict in my house for so long was how long we spent playing those games, just like on the console all day because it was always in the basement and we turned into fucking vampires because we were so pale and we didn't go out in the summer.
Yeah. I played with lights off too. I still do that. I play with lights. I'm like one of those dudes, and I play with the lights off.
You're like permanently pale.
Fucking vampire.
I was like that when I first got my Xbox 360. I just became addicted for like 2 or 3 years straight. Like I'd nonstop be playing Call of Duty 4, Call of Duty World at War, Modern Warfare 2, Halo 3, like
hell yeah,
all about those games. Skyrim, I lost so much time in my life. Skyrim, Black Ops 1, like that whole like that's my golden era where I could play multiplayer games like that like nonstop and like just not feel a thing. Now I get like tired of online games if I'm playing by myself after like 2 or 3 matches, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna go do something else.
That was like my first purchase after I got a job was getting an Xbox One and TV because I was tired of sharing things.
Yeah, I keep scoping out Xbox One deals just because I want to play like
maybe
Master
get
Chief
an
Collection.
Xbox One X though.
I don't have a 4K TV, and it's like really expensive.
Does that make a big point of it? Like, does it matter?
Yeah,
kind of. It's kind of the whole deal.
It's pretty much the whole deal. I wouldn't. It is more powerful. It's noticeably more powerful, but I wouldn't buy it because it's more powerful. I would buy it because of the 4K.
What if you buy the Xbox One X, use your regular TV for a while until you then, save up enough to get another purchase? Like, because just getting both at the same time, huge bump.
Well, by the time that happens, though, I feel like the next Xbox is going to be out. Because
you think it's going to be that long?
That's a long time.
TV?
You're the Jesus Christ, dude.
Well, no. Okay, so this is what happens. I just want an Xbox One S to play over the summer. Because then when the fall hits, I'm going abroad to the UK for like 4 months. And then I'm coming back for a month, right? Then I can play it for a month or whatever. Then I'm just going to go back to school, finish up, graduate, blah, 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 right? Like, I don't have like an anchor point where I can like essentially just keep all my shit. Like, I'm always on the move from like month chunks, right? So that's why I don't want to like commit right away. I would get an Xbox One X if it was maybe like $50 or even just $100 more expensive than the One S. But it's like the One S is $250. It's like $250 more of the time, and the One X is twice that price. And I'm like, not worth it, especially if I don't have a 4K TV. Like, Patrick, you're using an original Xbox One, and you're
It's a
fucking
5-6-year-old Xbox.
Yeah, you're fucking fine.
I'm Far Cry 5ing on it.
It just feels like it's bound to happen. Like,
you're
gonna have a 4K TV eventually.
Oh,
well,
absolutely.
I mean, it was like when HD TVs came out. People were like, "Oh, it's a new fad, but it's never gonna work." But now everybody has an HD TV. It's like most standard thing ever.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to have a 4K TV.
HDMI cables.
Immediately, but because I'm always on the move, I'm not even going to be able to like appreciate it for that long until maybe I need to upgrade again. So until I like graduate, move out, get my own place, get a first solid job, then I'll like start to like, okay, I'm going to get a 4K TV. I'm going to get a Xbox One X and shit.
There needs to be, I know it's never going to happen because people want to make money, but like just come out with one console. I really wanted to play, what's that PS4 game that's going to come out that I wanted to play a lot?
Spider-Man.
Never gonna be able to play that because I'm not buying one of those consoles just for that game.
I wish I could play Last of Us.
Oh, it's so good. That's one of my favorite games. Is my favorite game
those
of all
two.
time.
Those two are like actual.
Also, the new God of War looks dope. There's a lot of
Oh,
PS4
that
games.
looks-
I need
People are
to catch
so
up on.
fucking angry about that. Jesus H Christ.
Why?
Because
Why are they angry?
it's not a real God of War game because there's no hookers you can fuck. Because like Jesus, is that your like they're mad because it's not like the same game that they've played 800 times.
It looks so much better.
It does.
I
And the thing where you
had
throw
a
the
problem-
hammer and it comes right back. Not the hammer, the axe looks good.
Yeah. I had a problem with I again, I never played it, so maybe I just, I don't have an actual. I always used to look at it as like a hack and slash game,
Yep.
and I
Yeah,
hated
it
that.
was.
Just a button mashing. I hated that. This new one doesn't look like that so much.
It looks much more personal.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Like-
that I don't know why that mechanic amazes me so much, but that fucking return that weapon thing.
The axe thing is
Yeah.
very satisfying. One of the reviews
Thor,
I watched did like
Thor.
a sound compilation of like the sound when your axe hits your hand like
Whoa.
over and over again. It was like dun 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 dun. I was like, wow,
it's
that feels
also
good.
that same thing that I liked about Thor is just like that you can hear the metal spinning in the air, just like wow, like that weird sound, and then it hits right back in your hand. It's just like yeah, no one can kill stuff again. It's so awesome.
And that the going from like hack and slash to not is kind of the reason I didn't buy the new Assassin's Creed, because it went from not to sort of more of like a Mash X sort of
It's
deal.
always been that way though.
Not
Kind
Isn't
of.
it?
You used to have to like
Assassin's
counter
Creed is the
and stuff.
easiest combat in the
you
world.
have to, yes, it was easy, but you felt like a badass. But you weren't. How do I explain it? The hits felt like they were actually hitting. Each hit was hitting. It didn't feel like you were just
did.
swiping at the enemy.
The London one
Over
had a
and
really
over
way
and
of
over.
doing that.
Yes, exactly. You actually feel, but with this one, it just feels like slash, 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 slash. And you
the
watch their
Egypt.
health bar go down rather than them actually getting weaker, and then you
Yeah.
finish them.
There were sections that you had to cut away, like, oh, he's got his first triangle side down, second triangle side down. Now I know he's the last one, so you can turn to another guy. Just I remember being really into that. I was also really into the Arkham combat, thinking I was a badass.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yaman, I was gonna
that
ask,
was-
do you like the Arkham combat? Because like that's
yeah,
definitely
the
like,
dumb idiot version
Kind
of
of cool,
every combat.
but
like I really enjoy the Batman Arkham games and how you like just fly around and just like kick the shit out of people.
It's just cake. It's just a cake. It's just a huge
Yeah.
cake that you can eat.
I
all
mean,
the time.
it's supposed to feel like that, right? Because you're fucking Batman.
Yeah.
Batman doesn't struggle with these like street thugs. It's just like
I never.
it's like beating up children.
I
That
know
was
that
really
I know that
horrible,
he's
but-
supposed to be a master of like combat and flipping over and stuff, but he looks like a blur most of the time when you hit Y. Because if you're not good at the game, you're just gonna be hitting Y the entire time. So that's what I did, and I was just like flipping over and just giant like like you're a vampire bat swarm that's just like flying over in between enemies. It just looked bad, and it didn't make any sense.
Yeah, I the satisfying part about those games though was stringing together combos.
Yeah.
Like just because the more like higher combo thing went, the faster you got and the harder your punches were. So the only shitty thing is that you would run out of bad guys and then like you'd stop at like a 12 hit combo. But once you could like string together like your batarang and like some of your other tools, the explosive gel, like if you could manage all that stuff, it was so satisfying. Like I actually did enjoy that there was at least some depth and you just weren't like smashing X
So
and Y the
many
whole time.
parts of those games were like a lot of the like just like annoying like why can't you just do this like you'd come up to like some barricade, oh the Joker blew up this tunnel so you can't get through, can't you just go around it in the bat plane? No? Okay.
Yeah.
Like in Fallout New Vegas, when you come to a door that was like decrepit, you can't open it, you need a lockpick for that. There's a giant hole where I can reach around and unlock that. Like just all this annoying stuff that surely people made this game, right? And it's just a bunch of robots. So a person could look at that in the dev team and be like, that's going to be the dumbest moment ever. Why would we leave that in the game? No, of course not.
Yeah, I played Arkham Asylum's demo at least like 10 times.
Oh yeah.
Like I said,
That
I
was
didn't want to
peak
buy
bat
it.
year.
I just
Longest the
literally
world ever.
fucking played it over and over and over. It's just so badass.
Reading all the bios for the different characters is fun.
Yeah. Do you guys still? And honestly, this is kind of like what I'm looking forward to the most. I've been waiting to pull the trigger on this, but I've been wanting to get into Rainbow Six forever.
It's getting worse. Getting a lot worse.
It's not getting a
Really?
lot worse. I mean, player wise, they still have a bunch, like an insane
They just
amount of
crossed
players.
like 30 million players. I saw something.
Yeah, and
crazy.
I just read they still
Well-
get like 2.3 million players a day or something.
They said 30
insane.
million players, but that means 30 million purchases, not every day. They're getting 30 million
Let's
players.
Yeah,
still like
yeah,
a fucking lot.
2.3 million.
That's still a
day
lot.
is
I'm just saying
hard,
30
but
million is a fucking lot.
It's not dying. It's dying in like our little friend group, but the game is definitely not dying.
They've got a lot of new skills that are coming out that are literally just like map wide. I mean, there's a word for this in the community, but just like tab all, like just like all of these characters are now affected by blank. Like your phone is now ringing, so you've got to turn it off, or else people can see you. Or there's a drone hovering above you, and if you move, then everybody can see you. Just like the same thing over and over again. It's getting really, really, really annoying.
Yeah, it's. I remember wishing when Kavira first came out, I believe, if I'm not wrong, Kavira was the first character where it wasn't a gadget. She didn't have like a grenade launcher or something. Not something she put on the wall. It was a skill, something that changed her. It made her footsteps go silent. Okay, and I was like, this is kind of cool. I kind of wish more characters had things like this. And now I regret it because it's so annoying now. The abilities that characters have now,
they're not skills though. They're gadgets.
They're not. Yes. Okay. Characters that have skills that affect only them, or sort of like Vigil, where he goes invisible.
Well, there's another one. There's the grenade launcher lady. She has power through it, where she gets down and she can stand back up. But she only has 5 health.
I like.
That's a great one.
Yes, but her. You barely use that though. You use the grenade.
No, I've used it quite a lot.
Where you've gone down and they haven't.
I remember specifically like 2 nights ago, I got downed and some guy left me in that room because they'll do that sometimes to lure more people to come revive you. And I was like the last 2 people, and he left me in the room, and I got fucking up because I guess he forgot I could do that, and I shot him back in the head. It was great.
But my whole point is that's like, since I don't have anyone to play with on PC, I've been like holding off on buying it at all because like, okay, I need a solid group of people to play this with. So I'm gonna wait till I get an Xbox. So then I'll at least have someone or like 2 or 3 people to like play it with, you know, to like actually form a squad that will actually like communicate effectively. And that I guess goes to like any other like online multiplayer game. Like I barely play. I just don't like online games like playing alone. Like it's just kind of like
same.
Well, you play Black Ops by
I
yourself.
I cannot.
Not Black Ops, Call of Duty.
What, me? Oh, you can play Call of Duty by yourself, but still, it's better with like a team.
Are you gonna play the new one, even though they have a battle royale simulation?
What do you think of it? Did you hear about that?
Yeah.
Did you hear
Black Ops 4 isn't gonna have a campaign?
No single player.
Mason.
A battle royale for some reason.
What do the numbers mean?
For some reason, like, is it that big of a surprise? Like, I'm not saying
they're finally letting down the facade like they cared.
But the thing is, like everyone always says, well, of course Call of Duty is dropping it. Everyone just plays the multiplayer anyways. But then when other games do that, like they're like, yeah, we're just gonna be multiplayer focused because like no one actually gives a shit about the campaign. Everyone gets really fucking mad when
they're not
a campaign.
Call of Duty.
With Star Wars, like Star Wars Battlefront 1, everyone was mad. Titanfall 1, everyone was like, why is
Star Wars?
You cannot compare Star Wars Battlefront 2 with the narration of the clones, like when we dropped on the fucking battlefield and there we were, and all my clones beside me, and then they turned into 501st, all that stuff. That was completely amazing. That was so compelling, amazing. And you're talking about Call of Duty, where they're just like, bro, we gotta fucking blow that shit up, bro.
Call of Duty storyline, like, I haven't enjoyed Call of Duty story for the story since like fucking MW2. Yes, they can be fun because they're kind of getting innovative when it comes to the gameplay, but I haven't played a story mode for the story in a long time.
Conor McGregor and Kit Harington
Black Ops.
Fucking Infinity
I remember
War.
part of the reason I actually bought Black Ops 3 after skipping Ghosts was I heard that the story was actually like really good and really interesting and did
Kevin
like
Spacey.
different things. No, that was Advanced Warfare. And then I bought it, and the story was the most boring part of that entire game. Like I still haven't finished it to this day. Like
boring, like the actual story,
both the story and the gameplay I found incredibly boring.
Gameplay. I liked
I got so
that you
bored.
the classes and the skill points. I liked how they were trying to up their game a little bit when it comes to gameplay, so it's not just like go from here to here and kill everything in between.
I'd like to play the Call of Duty World War II campaign because I feel
Did you guys like
that
campaign? That was my question.
I haven't played it. I don't have World War II.
Which campaign?
World War II.
I don't have it.
Dude, I loved. Okay.
I thought it was great. I liked it a lot.
It was great.
I watched it, but I didn't play it.
I played it and I watched it. That was one of the first where I liked it more for the story than for the gameplay, because that was it was like a movie, dude. It really was like a freaking movie.
Did you also watch the cutscenes for the zombies?
I didn't touch zombies.
It's kind of interesting.
Is the zombies mode new with the DLC, or was it at the game?
No, it was
a release.
It was
a release. It was
okay,
campaign multiplayer zombies.
It's got these little clips where you can see why they're there.
I never even tried it.
Yeah.
It just hit me that I never even tried zombies. Like
Are
I
you
haven't
going
played
to?
a single match of zombies.
I thought they
Probably not.
overcomplicated
I don't
it.
play Call of Duty anymore.
See, that's the other great
I
thing.
just
Like,
don't.
getting a group together to play like zombies, like that's what I miss. That's what I
That
miss
was
from the
new
Xbox
versions,
days.
But specifically when it comes to zombies, when there was when it's like a new game or new DLC, playing a map that we'd never played before
Scary.
is great. It's great
Yeah,
because
dude.
we don't know what the fuck's
Yeah.
like when we played Mob of the Dead. I don't know if you guys remember Mob of the Dead
No.
from Black Ops.
I remember the first one. With
Alex, help
Kennedy
me out.
and,
Mob of the Dead,
and-
where it's in a prison.
You have to tell me. I think it
Oh
was Black
yeah,
Ops 2.
yeah. That was a whole big deal about this.
I'm trying to remember.
The DLC.
I
It
don't
was
know if
Black Ops 2, probably.
Okay. On that map, there's like a big dude in armor that shows up. And I remember the first time we played on that map, and I think it's like round 7, he shows up. It scared the shit out of us because you hear the footsteps,
damn.
like the Hulk is running at you, and we had no idea what was happening.
Do you
And it's
remember
just great to experience that
in
for the
Black
first
Ops
time.
1, one of my favorite maps was the one where they have the similar thing, but it's George Romero, like that horror movie director, is the guy, and he's walking around with
Night
a
of the
giant
Living
like
Dead or something
like
that.
Oh,
studio
that's right,
light.
that's right. Yeah,
and you
yeah,
can play as Danny Trejo, Sarah Michelle Gellar, and a bunch of other like
That's
horror
what they-
movie
they're
actors
doing now.
and
They get a bunch
actresses.
of B-list actors and they throw them in there.
Yeah, it was like fun as fuck though. Like they just did
Yeah.
not give a shit. But I really liked the original like World at War maps,
I like Black Ops 1's.
Shinonuma. Black Ops 1 was really good
With
too.
Kennedy.
Oh,
Like,
Black Ops
Kennedy's
1. Yeah.
was
I think
great.
Black Ops 1 was my favorite.
oh, the
Black
Kennedy
Ops
one
had
was
to be
so
my favorite.
fucking good. Where he plays Castro, Kennedy, Robert McNamara, and some other dude. I don't
Yeah,
remember.
that was 5, I believe.
That was-
well,
Yeah.
I think it was more than
It was
one
called
map,
5, but yeah, it was and you have to raise the def cons and shit.
Oh, my.
Just
Black Ops
like
1 was good.
when
Black Ops 1 was really good.
I don't know why, but I really like the simpler ones. I don't like the ones with the exosuits and all this complicated bullshit. I just want
Yeah, they got dumb.
yeah.
I
Advanced
also don't
Warfare
like the
was
ones
wild.
that are very heavily focused on Easter egg. Like
Ugh.
they all have Easter eggs, but there are some that it just feels like they're made for
There
you
are
to do
there
the
are
Easter
3
eggs.
hour like YouTube explanations about how the story matters. It's just like
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Is there one for the actual story? No, they spent like 8 minutes on the actual story.
I remember the World at War zombie story was like just very hinted at, and it actually took a lot of effort to figure it out. But you could read about it on the Call of Duty wiki, and it was actually super interesting. Like there was this whole backstory with like the German doctor, and like there were like hints in their voice
Coffin.
lines,
Yeah.
and stuff. And like if you throw like the monkey bomb into the furnace, you can hear like the
Yeah, the
ghostly
laugh.
voice of this little girl, or like her laugh or something. Yeah, dude. Like there were so many like little things in there that were
Just-
so fucking cool.
All the new
Was it
memes
her-
that are
was
coming
it
out
his
that are just
daughter?
those zombie
I think it was
noises.
his daughter or something.
I
Yeah.
think so. I'm trying to remember her name.
Oh wait, all the memes with the zombie noises now like fuck me up.
Oh
Like I don't
my
think I
God.
could
They're
take
really
zombies
funny,
as
and they also scare the
seriously.
shit out of me because I'm usually not expecting it, and I just hear them.
Yeah.
I never played those zombie maps, but I loved like that was the only game that I actually enjoyed watching my brother play. Like because he got super really angry about it because that was like the game to be angry at with Call of Duty. Either it was multiplayer or zombies that he got super angry at. And Black Ops 1, him watching him play that campaign with like Woods and Mason, I got into those characters. Like I was interested.
Yeah.
And none of the new ones I care about.
I remember I went to my cousin had a YouTube channel and he would do zombies videos and he was like really good. He'd get to like really high rounds, and I went to his house once, and when I showed up, he was playing a game of zombies and he was on like something like upper 20s, maybe even lower 30s, round 20 or 30.
That's when that shit gets real.
And I show up and he's like, "Oh, dude, we could totally play a match after I'm done with this." And I was there for like 2 or 3 hours, and he never finished the game because he was on like round 40 or whatever, and I left, and he was still playing the same match.
Dude, was that Ray Narvaez?
Fucking insane. No, it was not.
That was one of my favorite Achievement Hunter videos when they all went in to play zombies.
Oh my god,
And
that was
Ray
great.
Narvaez was part of Achievement Hunter for people who don't care.
They played on Nuketown.
Yeah, and everybody died immediately, and then Ray trained all the zombies and just fucking
Yep.
killed it by himself. Even though it wasn't part of the video, they were supposed to be playing with each other, but he couldn't help himself. He was so good at the game.
Well, he
That
couldn't
happened to me
save
so
them.
many
No,
times
he
with a
couldn't save.
friend.
He said sometimes you just can't. You can't.
Well, he didn't have to keep going. Is my point. Like,
Oh yeah.
That's the thing. Like some of the zombie maps, I don't know if it's still the case, if they fixed it, but the easiest way to get to higher rounds was to just be on your own and just run trains throughout the
Yeah,
entire
well,
map.
I don't. What do you mean fixed it? That's just how else can you
That's
do
like a
it?
basic
Like
It-
they could fix
like,
it so the
hold up in a
zombies don't
spot?
naturally form a giant horde. Like have it so they maybe like split up and try to like flank you. Because
It'd be way too hard. It'd be way too hard. Like
I don't think
you're
so.
saying,
I
like,
think they
it's-
probably. I would be surprised if they still haven't fixed that by now. Like
What would you do?
literally
How
just.
would you survive higher rounds?
I mean, that's how you do it, but I'm talking about from the perspective of like Treyarch or whatever game developer is making it, make that like a non-viable strategy.
Why?
Like instead of having the zombies form like a giant horde gradually as you run around the map, like that's easily exploitable, just like to fuck with people trying to get to higher rounds in that manner, have like the horde like split up
It would
or maybe
be
not
impossible.
get as.
Like
Why
I
would
get
they
what you're
split
saying.
up?
Possible.
though?
They
They're
could just
trying to kill
program it a
what would
different
you
way.
do? How?
Why would
Just
they
like
do
program it so one horde like tries to like get at
No,
you
I
from another
understand.
angle.
Okay, I understand. I'm saying you as a player, how would you get to higher rounds if you cannot train? That's just how it's done. I don't know how to
You just have to
explain
keep
it.
moving.
Group.
You just have to move and like think on your feet. That's the challenge. Is like trying to survive. I don't
I'm
know.
glad
what
you're not a
the
game
challenge is.
designer.
I'm just saying, like running
I get what
trains
you're-
for
okay, I
like
get what
50
you're saying.
rounds
I
in a
don't.
row gets boring as shit.
You're talking about like, what if the players couldn't jump? It's like, why would that matter?
But you're acting like Alex. You're acting like you're saying you shouldn't do it because it's boring. You don't have to do it. You can do the other things that you were saying to move around the map and like. So why take away the trains if somebody wants to do that when you could do either one? You
Well, what
could
I'm saying
choose.
is,
why
like-
take away the choice?
I think it should be harder in general to get to those higher rounds. Like running trains like gets really easy and like boring, and everyone shares the same leaderboard, right? So it would be interesting, is what I'm saying, is if they removed that simple strategy to make it harder for people to achieve those higher rounds.
I mean, if that weren't the strategy would become finding somewhere you could have your back up against the wall and have your whole squad there, and then just unload.
That was like
as
the traditional
zombies.
strategy, but that only gets
That
you
was
to like
it. If it wasn't
the
if it
30s
wasn't-
if you're lucky.
Yeah.
I have a
And then you like you
question.
pray for a max ammo and then
Well, with the newer ones, you can get different power ups and stuff.
yeah, I don't know the state of zombies. I haven't played since Advanced
Well,
Warfare.
it's not
so-
most. Well, people aren't upset about zombies now. People are upset and completely confused about why World War II is going to have a battle royale sequence. Like,
Is World War
It's-
II game gonna have
World
it?
War
You mean
II's
Black
not
Ops
gonna
4?
have it.
which one
Black
is the
Ops
new
4
one?
is gonna
That
have it.
one. There you go.
Black Ops
The
4.
new one.
Why are people angry about that?
Because they're saying, "Oh, you're just playing off of Fortnite and PUBG." And that's it.
Like
yeah.
the game. I bet you that same person complaining
Is gonna
plays
play it a lot,
Fortnite
yeah.
religiously.
But they just want to
So,
point it
like-
out because they're a genius, is what they are.
Oh, okay.
Has anybody else noticed that this is exact? No, I'm just kidding. That's exactly
That this
what they
thing
say,
is
though.
changing. We've liked this thing forever.
I mean, I
Make
don't really
COD
care
great
if
again.
Do you
everyone
think that's
rips
going to pull
off.
people away from Fortnite and PUBG if a new Call of Duty comes out with Battle Royale?
If it's good
simulation?
enough. If it's good enough, I will tell you. At this point, I don't know if I told you this. You guys know that I play PUBG a lot. I've pulled away from PUBG and I'm playing Fortnite more now.
I don't know why.
Why is that? What's
I've
your
always
reasoning
thought
for
that PUBG
Can't
looked like
explain it.
butt.
PUBG does look a little bit like butt.
Even if you have the greatest graphics, I've watched people play that on the PC with maxed out, options. It's just
Yeah.
like it just looks like old stuff, butt stuff.
I think, and I'm going to sound like a douche when I say this, but I think the reason I enjoy playing it, and I thought I wouldn't, but I enjoy playing it because I'm better than I thought I would be.
That doesn't make any
I thought that,
bad looks on you.
yeah, well, it's like I started playing it, and the friends that I play with that have been playing it for a while, like I usually do better than them, and it's
Yeah.
like,
So,
okay,
wait,
cool.
you
I'm
want
not
a
like
challenge?
I'm not letting my team down. I want to win. I like to win. I don't like.
I know
to,
you do.
I like to win.
See, that's
So,
the
like-
other thing. Like, I'd love to play like Fortnite in a group. The only time I had fun playing PUBG was when I got into a group with a bunch of people from work over the summer, and we played squads for like 5 hours, and it was like so much fun. But
It's
then like
great.
we never did that again for some reason, and I was like, okay, PUBG alone is not nearly as fun. Like, I actually don't give a shit about this anymore.
They're
Um,
like, I don't know why. I mean, this has been a concept for a while. Just the idea of getting smaller space, incentivizing people to get closer to each other, is the deciding factor between games like DayZ and PUBG. It's just like the idea of DayZ is fun because it's like, oh man, I might see somebody, but then you don't see someone for hours, and then you're
I think
eventually
that's
just
why
bored.
DayZ didn't work compared to.
Yeah.
So here's it was too big.
It was
And now I think Fortnite is more popular. And
compact,
my
ready
opinion,
to go.
the map is so much smaller. That's why PUBG, the new map PUBG is coming out with, isn't it like a quarter the size of the regular map or something?
Should
like
be.
crazy?
Oh, I didn't know they were coming out with another map. I know the desert map sucked apparently.
Yeah, no, I don't know about that. It's like a jungle map or something, and it's way smaller than the map they have now. And so like I think just that it's smaller. Fortnite's smaller. Way more engagement. The games are a lot quicker. Like before you know it, there's only like 30 people left, and it's like, wow, I've made it to late game. Kind of like how
they're more approachable.
Exactly. In PUBG, it's like,
all right, let me sit down and get ready.
There's 70 people left, and it's like you're waiting. Oh man, there's still 60. Oh, man, 40 people left. Oh, I died. Whereas in Fortnite, it's like, dang, we're already down to like the last 20. Like, yeah.
It's just
I get that.
Like. Everything about, I think we've talked about this before, but everything about Fortnite is so much more approachable, being that it's A, free, B, the style is just like, I can see everything that's going on. Whereas PUBG, it's sort of muddled because the graphics aren't quite there. So you're like, oh man, this looks a lot more confusing and in-depth, and they've got all these attachments and all these scopes, and it's so much more involved. But with
I like the in-depth.
I know you do.
I like that there was more. That was a personal, like, that was one thing that...
Walking up to the console, looking at the two of them, he's just like, I want this one. This one looks like easier.
Yeah, agreed. Okay. Should we shift over to fan mail?
Yes,
because we got a lot.
Can we start with the doodle, the one that you showed?
Oh yeah, Patrick, you do the doodles, and I'll sprinkle in the email.
Wait, there was two, I think.
Yeah. The one from, where did you send it?
I mean, I assume you just posted it on the
one
Instagram.
Where it's unidentifiable by noises, Yaman, and I'm a big bitch. That one.
Where I went to this instead of Prude.
Fidget spinners. I'm so random. I fucking hate you.
Hang on. Fucking cunt.
I posted both of them that we've gotten.
Yeah, I'm looking at them right now.
It's on the Instagram, but you don't follow
Cool.
me.
We can do both. I have a favorite, but I won't say.
Okay, Jesus. So Lil...
I didn't realize there was two.
Lil Awkward Heck sent us this picture of someone like a sock puppet, like me imitating Yaman, and it says unidentifiable Patrick noises. I'm Yaman, and I'm a big bitch. And then it's a drawing of Yaman.
You have to say it. You didn't say it the way you normally say it.
I can't think of it right now because you put me on the side.
I'm Yaman, I'm a big bitch. You say it like, exactly.
And then there was another one sent by Keon Show. That's a drawing of Yaman saying, "Ooh, fidget spinners, I'm so random, XD," and I'm saying, "I fucking hate you." And I think it's just you. The idea was that she wanted to draw you how you'd imitate someone that I hate. That's what she said, I think. But yeah, those were our arts.
Those are really nice.
Her specifically, she said that she was like on episode 7.
Yeah, she was watching them chronologically.
Starting from the beginning. That's crazy. She's going to watch, like, she's going to get to this one in like a month.
And maybe more than that.
She's going to be like, oh, they mentioned my art. Like, she's going to like forget that she even did it. It's going to take forever.
Yeah.
But yeah,
God.
I thought that was just kind of interesting that, like,
props to anyone that starts from the beginning, like the first few.
You
At
mentioned
this
that
point,
how it's a bad idea.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, more
please
power
don't.
to you.
Oh my god.
More or less, like, I think the content is okay, but I'm just more upset about the audio quality because, like, it took me a while to like figure that shit out.
And I was recording in my room. That first episode, at least.
So yeah, but here we are. All right. First email. This is from regular viewer Katie. I was listening to the podcast and I got really happy during the question and answer section because of the girl named Catherine. My name's also Catherine and I'm also asexual, so that was a really cool little coincidence. Sorry, my font is weird. This is a very professional font and it's also huge. Thank you for your email, Katie.
A lot of people mentioned how they found some relatability in that first email. We've been getting emails about that for 8 years.
Yeah, I know. But I'm glad people could relate.
Shout out to all our asexuals out there.
Yeah, you guys are dope.
And the bisexuals. Let's not leave anybody out.
The C and the D-sexuals, you racist fuck.
Like someone pronouncing bisexual weird, like, you're a bisexual.
So this is directly about, we got a few emails directly about our conversation last week about how love's not real.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
One of them was like, it felt like I emailed us.
We'll get to that. But this one is from, I'm going to butcher this. Hi, my name is Aaliyah. You'll probably butcher my name, but that's okay.
Wow.
I've learned this in my Latin class. In Greek, there are a lot of words for love, but I believe Patrick only believes in storge or familial love. Philia, brotherly love, that is, if he loves his friends. And I guess eros, which is erotic love, but except for the feelings shared between the two romantically. Anyways, in my opinion, love doesn't exist. I feel like you get married or whatever, feelings fade, and it ends either in divorce or passionless friends. Plus, trusting somebody completely doesn't sound practical. In fact, I get in lots of arguments with friends and family members because I don't believe in love, nor can I say I love you back to someone. My cousin always tells me she loves me, and I always respond with, that's nice.
Jesus.
So fucking savage, right. Dude.
I feel like she's got the same problem Patrick has, where it's not
Patrick
that...
loves his family.
No, I can be objective, and I can know that my
no.
relationship will sour if I decide not to say I love you back.
Exactly. Yes. No. Listen. I'm saying in that it seems like she doesn't think love doesn't exist as much as she doesn't like that love is temporary.
That's not what I think.
That's how
you do not have. You've said that before, and you do not understand what I mean at all.
Then explain it better.
I've said this a bunch of times. I'm just going to simplify it real quick. I think that there is something that people believe is love, but I don't think that the thing that they think love is exists.
Interesting.
There you go.
Okay. No, okay.
You have to read the rest of this email, but you can yell at me afterwards.
Okay, all right, sorry.
The argument section of this podcast was much earlier. You missed your chance.
It's a conversation.
No, we can do that after this fucking email gets done, all right?
Continue.
I believe love is just infatuation, but when people say that they love this person, regardless if it's their significant other, I believe they are infatuated with that person because love doesn't exist, as you said. Then they go on to ask a separate question. Have you ever been a complete idiot in front of a cashier? For example, I went to Starbucks with my friends and ordered a drink. She asked me for my name, but for some reason I thought she was asking for what milk I would like, so I said 2%, which she did put on the cup. The other time I was at the movies, my friend already ordered a large popcorn, but the cashier was like, "Can I get started for you a large popcorn?" I was too scared to say no, and he was intimidating, so I said yes.
Jesus.
And then we had 2 large popcorns for only the 3 of us. Like I said, have you ever done something like this? It'd make me feel better. Love the podcast. I tend to listen to each episode about 4 times each. Sorry this email's so fucking long. Thank you, Aaliyah. That was very in-depth and insightful.
Okay, Yaman, hold on to your thought. I'm going to give one example of a cashier thing.
Yeah, we can do this. I'm not pressed about this. I would like to talk about this. Not. Fuck you, all right?
You're so mad at me. Anyway, I put this on my Instagram. I recorded myself after I had this happen because I thought it was so fucking stupid. I went to McDonald's. I used to go to McDonald's a lot, almost every day after work during the summer. And one time I went there, and I have a tendency to talk to myself and make weird voices and like just repeat things that I hear. The lady that gave me the first part of my order, I grabbed it, put it down, and she said, "Hello," in just a very funny voice, like a Muppet. And I just, after I put it down, I thought it was silly. So I repeated it in her voice. I was like, "Hello." And then I looked to my left, and there she was, staring at me. She was very quick with getting the other half of the order. She had both of them in her hand, and she was just staring at me. And I took them, and I put them down in the cup holders. I was like, "All right, bye." And then I sped away. And I sat in the parking lot just thinking about that for like an hour, and I recorded myself and put a video up on Instagram. Anyway, yeah, that comes to mind.
Hello. I don't think I've ever done anything as bad as that, but I've definitely been upsold on shit that I've been too nervous to say no to. Like every time they're like, "Oh, would you like to upgrade to a bigger thing for like 50 cents?" I'm like, "Shit, I guess so, yeah." Then I end up throwing it away anyways because it's too much for me. But I always get convinced it's a good value. Do you have any stories, Yaman?
I don't
probably
know.
have more as the cashier.
Yeah, I have a lot more as the cashier. I had once, the first time I went to Starbucks, and I was like, "Can I have a small hot chocolate or something?" And he was like, "You mean a venti latte tall latte?" And I was like, "A small is good." And I think it's tall. Is tall the smallest?
I thought venti was small or tall.
Imagine how confused I was when I go, "Can I get a small?" And he goes, "You want a tall?" And I'm like, "No, a small." And he's like, "Okay, I got you with a tall." And I was like, "Do you?" Bro?
Tall is small.
Is it venti Italian for large?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do they think they're fucking fancy in that restaurant?
Basically.
Fucking stupid.
But they're also racist because they kicked out black people from their restaurant.
People got so mad about that.
Yeah, because it was fucking ridiculous.
But they thought that Starbucks as a whole was like a monstrous corporation.
Well, they should hold their employees
absolutely, but all the Starbucks were like
that manager's gone.
getting, like,
the manager that worked at that one Starbucks is gone.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Anyways, they have good frappuccinos.
Go ahead, Yaman. Yell at me for being an idiot.
I forget what you said.
All right, we're done.
Okay. Right.
Anyways, thank you, Ayla, for that. This is another response to Is Love Real? This is from Ada.
No, I remember.
Okay, go ahead.
Wait.
Oh, god damn it. We're not
Wait.
doing this.
Yes,
Wait.
Go ahead.
You said it's they feel what they think is love, but it's really infatuation.
Yes.
I think that you think again goes back to the whole temporary thing, in that you think because love is temporary, it seems like infatuation.
It's not.
It's not for them.
It's not always about the amount of time that you spend with them. That's not what I mean. I mean your feeling, not just the I invested this much time. That's not what it is. That I can't explain it any better than that.
Okay.
I know what you mean, and that's not the case. I just think that love wholesale is not real. Regardless of how much time you spent with them, it doesn't have to do with that. It's not all my collections of data is not from people who have gotten divorced after 5 years. That's not it. My definition of their idea of love does not have anything to do with time. All right, let's go. Let's move on.
This email is from Ada. Is love real? Yes, love is real, Patrick. God damn it. Okay. Sure, it may have a different definition for different people, but it's 100% a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Patrick seems like one of those people who doesn't believe in the moon landing. Love the podcast.
Right. Yeah, because those two are so closely related. Love, the idea of love, and fucking the moon landing.
Oh god.
Who is this person?
Ada or Ada.
Fuck you, Ada.
He doesn't mean it.
But what does that mean?
This next email is from Online Troll Eater. I literally downloaded the GML app because this
wait.
Oh,
I love to do the moon and back, even if that's not possible.
I literally downloaded the Gmail app because this question sent me into a deep, dark void of oblivion and worry. I think everyone has the one person somewhere out there for them, or we all have several people that would fall head over heels for, and I guess that's why it's so hard to believe it. I've never experienced love other than my family because I'm really young, but that's what I kind of thought. I think the world is all just a mystery and we'll never really know the secrets behind it. So many people believe in so many things, so my answer to that is that it might or might not be real. I don't know. That was a lot of words to say that you're not sure.
To say not, yes, to say I have no idea.
Maybe.
Who is this person?
Online Troll Leader.
Wow. Thank you for that, Mr. Troll Leader.
Yeah.
Or Mrs.
You're right. Or Ms. What's the one with the X?
Or they.
Z.
I don't know.
Oh, we just got like a G chat on this account from someone named Hannah. I don't know if this is this is actually from like 4 days ago. I just haven't seen it until now.
Okay.
But it's not directly about the question, but like I guess I'll read it. So this is a G chat from Hannah. I didn't know we could be G chatted. Hi, I've been a fan of yours for quite a while, and honestly only made a YouTube account to subscribe to you and a few other channels. I've been watching your content since Vine, and you were hilarious. Well, thank you.
Oh.
You all are. Listening to y'all's podcasts gives me life, and I find myself relating to Patrick and having his kind of mind set way too much. Your content is great, and
That's
I
a
always
problem.
find myself
You should get that
anticipating
checked out.
whether you post a new video.
Get that checked out immediately.
Yeah, I hope you think love is real at least. Thank you for
for
or at least
following-
think the moon landing is real.
Thank you for going from my Vine to my Instagram to here and trusting that it's still funny. Thank you.
Thank you for making me feel like I'm not the only one with this sense of humor and mindset. Can't wait for the next video. Also, I'm sorry if I interrupted something. I don't know how busy you all are or how many messages you get.
No, you didn't interrupt a thing. Thank you very much.
I'm gonna write you back right now.
Isn't it a great feeling when you find someone with a similar sense of humor, especially when you have a sense of humor kind of like ours?
It absolutely is, because at some points you like watch a lot of comedy or something and you're just like, oh man, it's not really doing anything for me, and then you find the one person who's just like, fuck yeah. Yeah, and you almost die laughing.
Very satisfying. Yes. Oh man, yes. It's great. It's a great feeling.
All right, that's it. Unless you guys want me to dig up some more ones that we maybe didn't get to.
Any more about how I'm a fucking monster and how I don't believe in love and how I'm a monster for that? I'm kidding. Don't actually read another one. Can we be done?
Patrick, if you could be vored by anyone, who would it be and why?
Is that an actual question?
Yes.
Written by who?
This is from McKaylee.
McKaylee, if I could be bored by anyone. Nolan North.
Why?
Because I'm just thinking about the most generic human being on the planet.
Why would it be
Most
someone
generic,
generic,
boring person on the planet.
Why would you want to be bored by someone generic?
Yama just sent me something on this. Oh, it's
Yeah, because it's a thing I remember I saw a couple weeks ago.
Oh my
And I
God.
didn't want to pull it up because like it's not that deep, but like
It's a chart separating what love.
Stop fucking trying to explain this to me like you're like a college professor or something.
I'm just saying they're different.
Both of those things have nothing.
Yaman
to
destroys
do. Yaman,
loveless
Yaman.
atheist Patrick
For
Fredrickson.
you. First, I'll answer
That's
that
the
question
title.
again. Not just Nolan North. That's a bad example. I'd be bored by the fox from Zootopia. Anyway, the thing you're talking about, you're dividing up all that chart you sent was like a division of all like, oh, this is what people refer to typically when you're talking about infatuation, and this is what you people refer to when you're talking about love, how different they are and how they mean so much less and so much more. How many examples do you have of people saying, yeah, I genuinely love this person? How can you tell what they mean by that? When you're talking about feelings, you can really only go off your own experiences as examples for what love means. So maybe I am like a heartless monster, but I love my brothers and I love my mom. I know what love is. I think it boils down to experience with someone and your willingness to put up with them. That is it. When you're talking about loving anybody but your family, like you say you meet someone and then you're noticing more and more that you have so much more in common with this person than anyone you've ever met. Eventually, you decide, all right, I'm going to be with this person till I die. Because you have gone through life, you haven't found many people. Maybe for some people, it isn't this way, and they don't find a great person. They just find someone who's willing to be with them, and that's enough for them. So when they have conversations with someone, and they say, do you love this person? Yeah, I love them. But they don't actually love them. They just know they're supposed to say that. So then they go into the metric of two people who love each other. But that's not really the case for them. You know what I mean? It depends completely. So you really don't have a great basis for what love is. And I don't think it exists. I think it's the people who genuinely love, in air quotes, love each other with all their heart, don't really love each other. I think they just like each other a lot and or are willing to put up with each other till they die. That's it.
Why can't those people love each other the same way that you love your brother or your mom?
The reason I love my brother and my mom is because I've lived with them my entire life, and they haven't done anything to make me hate them yet.
So you're telling me
so
if,
that could
if
still apply to another person, though.
Not necessarily.
yeah, if you
People, you don't have a choice.
If you met a girl and you two moved in together for how old are you, Patrick?
I'm 20.
If you moved in with her and lived with her for 20 years, you wouldn't think that maybe you love this person?
I've
And
lived
she didn't
with,
do anything.
Yaman.
And she didn't do
I
anything.
almost
just
think of
based
you
on what
and Pena
you gave
the same
me.
way I think of my brothers.
Oh, thanks, man.
In that I've
Okay.
known you for long enough where I care about if you like got hit by a truck or something. Like if there's times when you go out of contact and I know you were doing something shady, then like, oh man, is Yaman okay? Like the same way I would worry about my little brother. But I know that isn't like we're trying to quantify love like familial and romantic, and it doesn't work together at all. And it's not the same. When you're talking about someone that you've lived with for a while, you don't really have it. I think that specifically people that you grow up with as a kid to a young adult have such a different impact on you than someone you meet when you're 17 to 20. You know what I mean? Because you are almost an extension of that person because you're treated as sort of like a pack animal around them because you go to the same places, you eat the same things. You know what I mean? And those experiences compile completely different in your brain because they're almost like so many different things. Like they're your first experiences. You have more of them than any other person in most cases. And eventually they just become this staple in your mind of someone who you need to keep, safe and you need to care for because they are part of you. And that does not work the same way when you're talking about romantic love. And it doesn't mean anything to me. I don't understand how I could explain this any better.
That's
Okay,
okay.
no,
I think
good.
we'll leave it at that. I think you're making
I'm
your
really
case.
sweaty now.
I understand your case.
But
we just have
there's a huge
different,
but
like-
at the end of this. There's Nicki Minaj.
I just think,
There's no but. There's no but.
you know,
for me. I
Patrick,
get
it's
it.
okay for you to have your opinion.
Yeah.
It's okay for me to have my opinion. It doesn't necessarily mean either
It's
one.
going to be a
of us are
channel that you
wrong.
make called Your Idea of Love Sucks. There's gonna be
before we
Love Isn't Real #2.
Before we end, we have 2 new podcast reviews on iTunes. This one is from the CIA, subject line urgent business. You guys are great. I listen to these in the car or when I play 2K, so basically all the time. You guys are hilarious, and I appreciate that you are putting this out there and spending your time to do it. Keep overthrowing the communist regime, one sex story, Tom Brady kissing, stuffing guns in a baby's podcast at a time. I love that.
I love that.
That was really good.
That was
great.
That was great.
That
we
put
should
like
update
that
our
was like a Word
description to that.
document.
What the fuck?
We should make that
Thank
a
you
motto.
very much. But do you love us? And what does that mean?
What do you think about The Quiet Place? Is it good? Is it bad? What do you think?
Well, I think it was
respect each other's
garbage because
opinions.
I like views.
This other review is from Dullingham Rules, subject line, the only thing making college, and it just kind of cuts off. Fuck you, iTunes. Prude dudes, my dudes, my Prude juice dudes. That's like how we would open one of the early podcasts.
That's how you open shit now, almost. It is that annoying.
My podcast openings now are like very dull.
Yeah, sure.
A little bit, fuck you.
And it's great.
Thank you. I listen to you guys when I do college work in the library and stare out a window contemplating dropping
That's
out.
crazy. I do the podcast while I'm doing college work in the library. I'm in the library.
Are you contemplating dropping out, though?
Of
Do
course.
you think that person is in the other room?
Of course.
Or next
You always
in the
like
review, they're
stuff like
like,
that on Twitter because it gives me like stuff in my feed of like, yeah, I'm in like this, and it's always like I'm thinking about dropping out, like something like that.
Yeah, because it's like
It's something you consider.
The feeling's real. It's not
God,
like
it's so
not
satisfying,
like
too.
attention. I don't retweet it. It's like I feel it, bro. I feel that in my
A
soul.
look into the inner workings of Yaman's mind.
Anyway,
Go for
finish
his
this
Twitter
email.
likes.
Or it's a review.
Without fail, I burst out laughing at something said and draw attention to myself. I'm pretty sure people are starting to think I'm insane. This last podcast, number 39, about love, got me having a midlife love crisis at the age of
glad.
22. I've been saying love is a lie for years, but I'm living my life as a bitter woman. Also, took the Prude test and I got a 22.
Jeez.
God damn it! Way to make me feel like
What
a
a
loser.
whore. No, I'm just kidding.
Fucking stop.
I was like a 3.5 or something.
7. You got a
Blocked
7.
and reported.
You got a 7. Yeah.
All right. Damn, this is a really lengthy one, but it was good. All right. Thanks again for listening to the Prude podcast.
So many good
my
reviews and emails. You guys are great. I love you guys.
Yeah, you guys are fucking
What
great.
does that mean?
You know, that question saying who we get vored by, I would get vored by every single one of you guys. That's how much
that means a lot and is also creepy.
That's my definition of love.
But would you get
Who
dick?
would you
Would you,
willing to
would,
get
you,
vored
would you
by?
get dick for it? Do you guys know what dick for is?
We can end
Isn't
the
that
podcast
just
now. We can
regular-
just stop talking.
Okay,
We
It's
can
not.
stop
It's not
talking.
regular. You have to
Jesus
insert it into your
Christ.
wiener hole.
Oh, stop. Okay, no, we're done.
It gets so weird.
Going out with a bang, huh?
Thank you for listening to the Prududes podcast. If you want to send us any more fan mail like that, you can send it to prududes@gmail.com. If you want to leave us an iTunes review, that'd be great. We'll read it on the show. If you want to follow us on Twitter, that's @PrudeDudes, and on Instagram, it's also @PrudeDudes. If you want to follow us on our personal accounts, I'm @AlexPena97. Patrick is @PatrickCharlton05. And Yaman is @is_Yaman. Thank you again for listening, guys. And we'll see you.
Leave those comments on the YouTube videos because I read those and I respond sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Wait, should we go through those?
We don't have time.
Not now. We can do that next week. We can do that next
Fuck
week.
it. Thanks for listening, guys. See you again next week.
Bye.
Vor.